What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is Growing Up Hip Hop Season 5, Episode 5. So, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. So, we start this episode off with the showdown, right? The meeting between Angela and Brianna. Now, remember, Brianna brought her boyfriend in Little Twist, but they didn't come into the restaurant. Angela bought her assistant / friend Katrina, and her thing was, look, over the years, me and Brianna, I've seen how Brianna act, and I don't know who's showing up, so I have somebody here to make sure if things go left, I'm good. I ain't even mad at you. I 100%, 120% understand, because over the years, Brianna has, been her behavior's been very erratic, so I definitely understand you making sure that you are covered. But they sat down, they talked. Brianna was very nervous, and of course, once she realized that Angela was not there by herself, she was a little, put off by that. But they had a really good conversation, and I feel like they hashed everything out. I definitely could tell that Brianna was nervous. And I'm going to tell you what I think it was. Let me go back to the beginning. If you guys have been watching the show from the beginning and you remember when it was season 2 that Brianna was brought onto the show. Angela came from Run's house, right? That's the type of reality show Angela did. Very wholesome. Wasn't nobody arguing, fighting, cussing, fussing. It was just silliness. It was just real life situations. Maybe a little scripted. But no drama, no fighting, none of that. And even if it was drama, it was reasonable disagreement, family type stuff. I think Brianna came onto the show trying to create a loving hip hop environment. Angela was like, that's not what we're doing here. That's not what I'm doing. And I don't have to. One, because I'm Angela Mother Simmons. 2, I'm an executive producer on this show. I don't need this show. This paycheck is not, you know what I mean? And so she was not going to allow the show to be that. And I think that, and I don't know if production put Brianna up to some of that, or if that's just who Brianna really was. We know that in that first season, Brianna was in that abusive relationship. And let's be real. That's the only reason why she was brought on this show, is because of her connection to Mary J. Blige at that time. And because it had already gone viral about this abusive relationship. That had already made the news. So I don't know. And that was 3 years ago. So I'm not going to rehash all of it. But I really think that that's what it boiled down to. And I think by the time Brianna realized she had gone too far, she didn't necessarily know how to wind it back. And Angela, what we found out in that conversation was Angela at one point tried to get Brianna fired from the show. I think that the agreement that they came to was that Brianna and Angela just would not film with each other. That they wouldn't film with each other, and that would be that. You stay over there, I'm gonna stay over here. I don't know if production put Brianna up to this reconciliation, or if Brianna really decided it was time for her to resolve it, because she's in a better place and she really is trying to make right all that she did wrong. You understand what I'm saying? But neither here nor there. I think it was a good conversation. I think both of them said what needed to be said. I do believe the conversation was probably edited. I do think that there were still some things that neither one of them were willing to say on camera per se. But do I think that they're going to walk away being best friends? No. Do I think that they will now be able to film scenes together without there being an issue or a conflict? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So it was needed. It was a much anticipated moment. I'm not going to say it was anticlimactic, because I didn't expect anything more. Angela Simmons is never going to give you that moment. She's just not. Now, what she does privately, what she does behind closed doors might be another thing. But she's never going to give you that rah-rah. She's just not. The most that you're going to get from her, I think the most emotion we ever got out of Angela was when she had that meeting with her half-sister. And they sort of kind of went at it. And again, that was some real stuff. That was some real family stuff that was being dealt with. And so, yeah. So it was a good moment. Now, we have Boogie meeting up with Sam. Let me tell y'all how I'm so over Sam. Like, I really never was feeling him. I always felt like it was something about him I didn't like. I do think he's using Egypt. I don't think he has Egypt's best interest at heart. If I'm Pep, I do have a problem with the fact that my 20-something-year-old daughter doesn't work, her boyfriend don't work, and they living off of me. I get it that she wants to be in the music industry and he wants to be in the music industry, and that is a fickle situation. But at the end of the day, both of them are old enough to be paying some bills. And if the music ain't working out, then y'all need to be working full time and doing music on the side like everybody else. Let's just be clear. But that's just my 2 cents. Ain't nobody asked me for no more. And that's just what it is. They are meeting up with, he's meeting up with Boogie. And they get to having a conversation. And Sam reiterates to Boogie how he thinks that TT wants him. And that's why TT gives him such a hard time. He said, because when there are times when the two of us are by ourselves and she doesn't give me a hard time and she actually acts like she likes me. But then when we get around certain people, then she gives me a hard time. And I do think that she is actively, trying to block my relationship or whatever with Egypt and or what have you. And of course, Boogie was sitting there like, yeah, bruh, I don't really feel like TT wants him, but hey, nobody feels like TT wants him except for him. And if Egypt believes that mess, if Egypt is gonna buy into that narrative that, oh, she wants me, that's why she don't like me, bull, that just proves that you don't need to be with this man. That's all I'm gonna say. Then we see Lil Eric and JoJo in the studio. They kind of chopping it up. They having one of those like really awkward conversations where it seems like they talking. And they talking about relationships and stuff. And we find out that Eric has had a ride or die, that he's dogged and treated like trash for the last 10 years. He's got 6 children by 4 different babies' mamas. And she only the mother of 2 of his 2 or 3. Is it 3 or 2? I think 3 of his children. She's the mother of. But he finally decided to make it official, put a ring on it. He said, look, she'd have been through a lot with me, but, I appreciate it. I love her for it. Then we, got JoJo basically talking about how he wants another child. And he don't understand why, his fiance don't want to give him another child. And, he's like, look, I ain't even asking for much. I just want one more kid. So, again, we already talked about that. I ain't about to rehash that situation. But I do think that's something that really does need to be resolved before we get to the wedding, the altar. Now, we have a girls' night out. We have Vanessa, Angela, JoJo's fiance, and TT. They all hanging out. Eric invites them to a cookout. That's when he invites the ladies to come to the cookout. And basically, he told everybody it's just a regular cookout, but at the cookout, he's got an announcement to make. I kind of already told the announcement, but we'll get there. I like Vanessa, but Vanessa, you were coming off very, very ditzy and whiny. Like, first of all, ditzy from the point of view of that whole Romeo thing where Romeo got you to do a party for him while he was dogging your sister. I still don't understand why Angela and JoJo ain't gave you the side eye and came at you like, really, dude? Like, at what point when he started dogging out your sister did you say, wow, he's talking about my sister like a dog, but I'm still going to throw a party for him? Then you're having this conversation. You were sort of feeling some kind of way towards Angela because Angela went and met with Brianna without you. She was like, well, she took Katrina, and I kind of feel like she should have taken me because, I've had more interaction with Brianna. I just feel like maybe I should have been there for that conversation. And then you want to be in JoJo's wedding, and you're kind of like, I want to be a bridesmaid. I really want her to ask me. I really want to be a bridesmaid. How about you go figure out why you ain't been a bride yet? Do that. I like you, Vanessa. I have always liked you, Vanessa, but I don't know how much of this is the real Vanessa or the Vanessa they want you to play, if that makes sense. She is an actress. So But they got to talking about that. And of course, TT talking about Sam and the engagement thing and how they're not ready to get married and all of that. And they're just rehashing what's going on, what we already know. They didn't really get too deep into the Romeo thing other than to say, he tripping, I don't know what his issue is, I'm moving on. You know, basically. They talked about it a little bit, but it ain't really nothing new to add. Romeo ain't been there. So there's nothing more for them to really add to it. JoJo's fiance does let them know that she has picked her bridesmaids and she ain't picked either sister. And she said, you know, I thought about inviting them. I kind of wanted to ask them to be a part of the wedding. However, it can be a little bit much. They can be a little overbearing, and it's my wedding. JoJo is already kind of putting his 2 cents in. I have to kind of listen to JoJo, but I don't really have to listen to them. The impression I got was I like them, but they, you know, they can be a little intrusive, and I want to sort of limit how much input they have into my wedding. And I don't think Angela was tripping too hard, but Vanessa, I think her feelings were a little hurt, but okay. Then we go over to the studio with Brianna and Lil Twist. Let me tell y'all something about this Lil Twist. I love him. I absolutely love this young man. He's funny to me. And he seems like he's got a really sweet and genuine heart. I don't know if it's the weed, because he always high, or if he really is just a sweet person. I don't know. He seems like a really sweet guy. I'm a little nervous, though, because he always got that cup in his hand. And I don't know what's in that cup. I don't know if it's alcohol or lean or something else, you know. But he's a sweetheart. Him and Brianna are talking, and they're sort of kind of just going through the rigmarole. He lets it be known that he got invited to a cookout over to Eric's house. And Brianna was like, well, why didn't I get an invitation? Well, the last time we saw you, you was throwing a drink in this man's face, and he walked away from you to stop from putting his fist through your mouth. And I'm not saying that would have been okay. I'm just saying he walked away. So her thing was, look, that is me and Eric's relationship. We've been there and we've done that. We've gone through all those things. Like, it is what it is. So Brianna was like, well, why he didn't invite me to the cookout? So he called, Twist ended up calling Eric while they were in the studio. And that's when Eric said, look, I'm inviting them over to let them know that me and, you know, I think her name is Ayana, we got married. And he said, I don't really think that would have been the best situation to invite you to when everybody knows that me and you used to get it in. You know, she don't kind of like you. You don't really like her. It wouldn't have been appropriate. You know what, Eric? That's smart. I can appreciate that you were not trying to create a moment, and you were not trying to create, you know, you were not trying to mess up things at home. You said, look, this ain't a good idea. I'm not inviting you. Boom. There it is. I said, I can appreciate the thought that went into that. And Brianna said she did understand, but of course, you know, she had to throw a little slick shade to the girlfriend, but it is what it is, because the feelings seem to be mutual when we do meet, I'm sorry, the wife. The feeling did seem to be mutual. Twist also expressed his unrequited love for Boogie's sister once again. Yeah. Boogie also got a little deeper into that whole situation. It's a little deeper than just giving an affidavit. What we find out is that Dame Dash is trying to convince his daughters to get Rachel Roy to sign over her company to him. And he's putting pressure on them to try to make that happen. And so that's another element that they didn't really get into about what why the relationship between Dame Dash and his daughters are deteriorating. Because he's trying to put them in the middle of adult business. He's always said that his money started Rachel Roy. I said Rachel Ray. Y'all know I meant Rachel Roy. His money started Rachel Roy. And, you know, he's always felt some kind of way about the situation. Neither here nor there. That's why the daughter is kind of like, I really don't want to have nothing to do with this. I don't want no parts of it. Down to the cookout, honey. We are at the cookout. Now let me just go on through the highlights of the cookout, because, you know, the biggest thing with the cookout, we know that they were brought there to make the announcement. Tanise is JoJo's fiance's name. They're making the announcement that they are married, and of course everybody was happy, but Eric's sisters wasn't feeling it because they didn't know. They weren't happy about it, but it's okay. JoJo tries to ask Angela out on a date, and Angela is like, I look at JoJo like a little, I mean, not JoJo, shoot. Boogie like a little brother. I don't know where this is coming from. I'm a little uncomfortable. But she does agree to go out to dinner with him. She does agree to go out to dinner. At the cookout, everybody once again starts asking JoJo's fiance, Tiana, about babies again. And she was like, is he telling everybody our situation and our business? Because how come everywhere I go, they keep bringing up me having more babies? Like, what is that about? Twist is at the cookout, honey, in his slippers, being Twist. Twist sort of makes some comments about Boogie's sister. Boogie is like, look, yo. And he had to let him know, like, look, I really don't appreciate you talking about my sister like that. She's my sister. I love her. She got a whole boyfriend. You know she has a boyfriend. It's not going to happen, bruh. And we cool, but you making me uncomfortable the more and more you bring this up. Twist was like, my bad. I'm sorry, you know, whatever. So we'll see if he sticks to that. He don't do it. The biggest thing that happened was that TT was there with her new boyfriend, right? The guy that she's been hanging out with down to the Jamaica. And, you know, they seem like a cute couple and everything is everything. He seemed like a cute guy. His name is Sean. He seemed real cute. But who showed up is Egypt and Sam. And from the beginning, the two of them are snapping at each other. She making smart comments with him about why didn't he come to Dallas and all of that. And he's making smart comments at her, talking about, hey, what's up, Sean? I like you. I like you more than I like TT. And Sean was sort of sitting there kind of, I feel like he was playing his position, but he had his eyes open on Sam. So somewhere in the midst of all of this going down, Twist and Boogie have a conversation. And Boogie tells Twist about Sam basically saying that TT is in love with him. And Twist takes off like a jackrabbit, honey. He is flying through the cookout. He jumping over furniture. He running into people so he can get to TT to let TT know. He said, oh, I'm telling. I'm telling. Baby. He's bad. A stereotypical woman, honey. He get over there and he tell TT what Sam said. And TT was like, excuse me, what? Sam said, I'm what? I'm in love with him. Excuse me? Sam said, what? Sam gonna sit there and go, I mean, that's how you act. You act like you want me. Baby, TT said, I need to walk away. Because I'm that pissed off right now. So, that's where they left us. And poor Egypt is on the other side talking about something. I see the body language, but I don't want no parts of that conversation. So, I'm not sure where this is going to go or how it's going to go, baby. But that's where next week's episode is going to pick up with the two of them. Ooh, I don't know how this is going to go. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.